Now that we have Google Analytics installed correctly and it's receiving data, let's talk about Google Analytics views and how to set them up and what the best practices are. Now, just to give you an overview again, we have the account, we have the properties, and now we are looking at the views. And best practice here is really to set them up after master, test, and unfiltered. Why is that so? Well, once you look on how Google Analytics works, you'll notice that on a view level, data gets processed. So you have different configurations and filters that you have set up within a view. And once the data comes in, it goes actually through these filters, through these configurations, and then is displayed in your reporting overview. Very important to notice, once the data goes through these configurations or these filters, it can't be processed backwards. So you can't take off the filter or change the configurations later and apply that to the data that is already collected. So filters and configurations within the view level are not retroactive. And that's why we set up 3 different profiles to make sure that no mistakes happen with the processing of the data. So the first one I want to talk about here is the unfiltered view. Obviously, this view would collect all the raw data just as it comes in. We don't have any filters set up. We don't have any configurations in this account. And this is really useful because if you have an account, such as a test and master account, where there are filters and configurations in there, we can always check back if something went wrong and look at the unfiltered data and see whether our configurations or our filters are messing up our data. So we have always one data set that's actually untouched. So very important, having an unfiltered view. Now let's talk about the other 2 views, the master and the test. Obviously, it's a little bit of a testing stage here. Once you want to try out a new filter or a new configuration, you can test that out in the test account, see how the data is processed when it comes in, maybe let it run for a week, see if the configurations that you have made are satisfactory or you need to tune it. So you can do this all in the test account, and once you are sure that everything is working and this is the actual data that you want to present to the ones that are viewing it, you would transfer that filter or configuration into the master account. And the master account basically holds all the filters and configurations that we want to have for our view. Now, these are best practices. A view is really a perspective that you look at the data from. So you could also set up a view just for the PPC manager or just for the email marketing guy or for the management team, which would show the data in a certain perspective and make it more valuable that way. But this is really an advanced topic if you get into the presenting of data further. Now let's take a look at how we would do this in a Google Analytics account. Back in our Google Analytics account, obviously here in the admin section, we have this nice overview over the view settings. And if we want to go ahead and open up these 3 views that are very important for us, we can just click here and create a new view. And in this view, we can change the reporting time zone and give it a name. So let's call this just master. Do another one. Unfiltered. And obviously our test view. So now we have those nicely aligned here. We also have the all website data view, which is very, very common in old accounts because it's the default account. I wouldn't delete it because if you deleted all the data that has been collected in that account will be lost, and you won't be able to see the data in the other views because they are not retroactive, which means they are now, as of when I created them, will start collecting data. Now in the real world, I would probably start out with an unfiltered view putting that in, and then building my master view. So I would put in a master view, then configure everything as a standard setup would require it, and then copy that master view, and then make a copy of that master view and put in the test view, so I don't have to go through the whole setup process of filters and goals and so on again. And you can copy a view really easily by going to view settings. Here's also where you can rename your view, and up here is a button to actually copy this view, give it a new name, and then you have a perfect copy of that view.